Good afternoon. Welcome to the special meeting of the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors. We'll call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. We do have an opportunity for public comment, but I would point out that since this is a special meeting, the comments need to address the one item on the agenda for today, which is the proclamation for calling a local state of emergency resulting from the storms of December 11th. So I do have one speaker card. Mr. Fox, do you want to speak specifically on the emergency declaration?
I'll make it brief because I already talked to County Council about this, but the proclamation requires three different sections to it according to the statute: that the emergency exists within the territorial limits caused by conditions such as a storm or disease, which are likely to be beyond the control of the county services, personnel, equipment, and facilities, and require the combined forces of other political subdivisions to combat. And the other political subdivisions are listed in Sheriff Monk's memorandum, clearly identified, and they're just not mentioned in the proclamation. I thought a simple amendment might be in order if you're concerned about cost recovery. And I wanted also to thank the sheriff and the sheriff's department for the efforts that they've made, and I believe that they should be commended, and we should all wish them happy holidays. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fox. I know you had a chance to discuss the technical matter with our county council, and when we get to the point where we're about to take action, you can advise if any changes are necessary. So let's proceed with the matter at hand. We'll have a presentation by Lieutenant Kernan. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Board of Supervisors, Mr. Byers, Mr. Malpe, President Pine. Thank you for making the time for this emergency meeting for the board to proclaim a local state of emergency for the December 2014 storms. My name is Jeff Kernan. I'm a lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office. I stand before you today as the Director of the Office of Emergency Services, and I'm requesting your approval to proclaim a local state of emergency for the San Mateo County operational area. There are three levels of declaration, and I'd just like to go over those. A director's concurrence, a gubernatorial, and presidential, each proclaiming at a different level. An emergency declaration is more limited in scope and without the long-term federal recovery programs of a major disaster declaration. A presidential major disaster declaration puts into motion long-term federal recovery programs, some of which are matched by state programs and are designed to help disaster victims, businesses, and public entities. On behalf of the operational area, which is the geographical area that boundaries San Mateo County, I recommend that we declare for all three categories for the purposes of obtaining the maximum award allowed. I spoke with Cal OES Region 2 Administrator Jody Travisero and informed her of our intent to proclaim a local state of emergency. I also want to report to you that the counties of Lake, Marin, Sonoma, and Tehama have also proclaimed emergencies to the governor's office, so we are not alone. OES responded to several areas and cities in the county. We activated our Emergency Operations Center Level 2 and deployed personnel to the coastside and bayside cities to offer assistance and scene support, transportation, and coordination of resources. Our county's Human Services Agency activated a Department Operations Center and assisted the American Red Cross with managing a shelter at the College of San Mateo. The Sheriff's Office, Belmont, and San Mateo Fire Departments were active in evacuation operations at the Harbor Mobile Home Park. Our fire departments, public works, and building departments were instrumental in identifying dangerous areas and coordinated with Caltrans, PG&E, and private property owners to bring resources to the affected areas. The county manager's office showed great leadership during the storm and now during recovery in coordinating county departments and outside resources to best respond to the needs of community, And I want to thank Mr. Calgi personally for your leadership during this last week. Several CERT teams throughout the county were active in helping command staff and communities during the height of the crises. The San Mateo County Transit District partnered with OES to transport community members to the shelter. Areas that reported damage or other losses are, but were not limited to, in Redwood City, the East Bayshore Mobile Home Park had some severe flooding and temporary shelters were set up for those residents. Unincorporated area of Belmont, 100 Harbor Boulevard Mobile Home Park. We had a full evacuation of all residents and housed, and much thank you to Mike Celeste from the College of San Mateo, who provided a shelter and worked with the Red Cross and their valiant efforts to house and reunify these families. We housed over 100 people there over the course of this time period. Scenic Drive in La Honda. In the city of South San Francisco, we had South Airport Boulevard, flood damage to Genentech, Smart and Final, the Ponderosa School. There was flood damage to 27 homes, slipped hillsides and road damage. Residents near the canal were forced into temporary shelter as well. The San Francisco Public Utilities water equipment site received flood damage. In the county, San Pedro Valley County Park at Weiler Ranch Road received damage to a bridge, and I'm not certain to what extent that was, but it was reported by the county. The city of San Bruno suffered road and culvert damages on Mason, Eaton, and Peninsula Place, as well as a hillside in the San Bruno Park. Other jurisdictions reporting losses, either with personnel time, or other damage, were Patola Valley, BART, Town of Hillsborough, Belmont, Colma, City of San Mateo, and Foster City. So I've prepared a short slideshow just depicting some of the damage so you can get a concept of how it looked. Again, significant flooding were in these 4 cities of South City, Belmont, Redwood City, and Pescadero. Total rainfall we received throughout the course of this storm. The general amount was 4 inches countywide, but the specifics are listed there on the slide. These are our responding agencies who assisted. Nonprofit agencies who are also very involved and helpful. And here's the shelter operations at the College of San Mateo. Damage in South San Francisco. Damage at the Belmont Mobile Home Park. Town of Pescadero. And the initial damage estimate was just under $3.8 million, and it consists of all the listed cities and jurisdictions there on this slide. And that's my presentation. Thank you very much, and I'm available for any questions.
Awesome. Questions for Mr. Kernan?
I just have one question, although I don't know if they had significant damage. They had a lot of water, was Broadmoor. You didn't mention Broadmoor. Was there any significant damage there? I know they were flooded, but that happens on a regular basis with the rain, unfortunately.
My supervisor is informing me that it was flooded. Do you have any specific information? Supervisor Don Matei indicates there was a lot of vehicles that sustained flooding damage, but I don't have any specific information from that town.
So would they, since we didn't mention them, if there is some damage, it would automatically be included?
Yes.
Because it's in our unencumbered areas? Okay.
This is just the initial proclamation process, just to get it to the governor's office. And actually, I was told about an hour ago that they've already accepted our request, so that's good news. I know.
I had a question. First, thanks for all your hard work. I know you've been around the clock on this. I just want to understand how you calculate the actual number. What type of, like say if like a vehicle is damaged by flooding, is the repair or replacement of that vehicle part of the calculation, or what kind of things are in the 3.3 million?
The information we have was received from each city that reported an initial damage estimate for their specific jurisdiction, and that was completed and submitted to Sacramento through the state system. So the numbers that I'm providing, it was an aggregate. We added the numbers provided from all the city managers or their staff.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is to cover both the cost incurred by public entities and damage to public infrastructure, plus damage to, private property? Are all those things part of the calculation, or is it just the cost to the public entities?
There may be more damage assessments coming. This is just the initial assessment that we received from the cities, and most of that was government and city properties. Some of it covered in South San Francisco. There were 27 homes. That number may have been factored into the South City piece. But the numbers I provided were based off of what each city reported to my coordinators. So I can ask for further analysis of those numbers if you prefer it after this meeting.
I think the supervisor might be asking whether the damages assessment covers just public property, like public infrastructure, or also damage to private property as well.
It covers, based off of the information I just provided, it covers that. If there's anything outside of what I provided, then that would be additional damage that may not be covered within that 3.8 million.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? The mobile home park in Belmont, some of those mobile homes are no longer to be habitable. Are they covered in the declaration as well?
They should have been added into the factor that was provided to us.
The other thing I would like to really commend, especially our Deputy County Manager, Mike Callaghy, and Human Services Agency as well. I know one of the things that we were worried about with the kids that were up at the college, they had to get to school, and they were able to get them to school. And the other thing that I was really impressed with is HSA actually packed a lunch for the children. So I want to thank them, thank the Sheriff's Department, all the agencies that were instrumental in providing so much support for our residents. You guys did a fabulous job.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the proclamation of a local emergency resulting from the storm of December 11, 2014.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to declare the local emergency. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that carries unanimously.
President Pine, if I may just jump in and just respond to the member of the public, Mr.
thank
Fox, who raised a potential technical concern with the proclamation. I had one of my staff meet with Mr. Fox, and we were able to hear his concerns and address his concerns. And so the proclamation before you is legally appropriate, and I stand by it. So everything's fine.
All right, I think we're in good order. So unless there's other business, I think we're prepared to adjourn the meeting. Once again, we all thank everyone in the county and our community broadly for the incredible response to this flood emergency. Everyone rallied together in the most impressive way. We very much appreciate it.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Happy holidays.